Hey everyone, you're here with Mark Batwell at perfectgardens.com. So today we got a great question from John Holden. Do you have to use everything in the Fox Farm line? Is the trio good enough? And what are the gains from using the extras? Okay, so these are a number of really great questions. And do I have photos? No, I don't have any photos off the Fox Farm line because I don't use the Fox Farm line. And I haven't used it probably in 9 years, just to be very upfront with you. Okay, so let's get to your first question. Do you have to use everything? First, no, you do not have to use everything. The trio is good enough, especially if you are a first-time grower or you're just getting started. What type of gains will you get if you use the extra? You will increase your yield and your quality if you use the extras in their nutrient line. It is what it is, obviously, because when you use the extras in their nutrient line, and I talk about this all the time, specifically, you are shutting down the microbiology and you are force feeding these plants. But whenever you dump more NPK in, you're giving them a salt fertilizer. As long as your plants are healthy and you're not over fertilizing them by basically just jacking up too much NPK when you don't have a large enough root system to deal with the stresses of converting those salts into nutrients for the plant. Just because of what you're giving them, as long as your plant's healthy and they can handle the extra feeds, you're going to get a higher increase in yield and quality. And when I say quality, I'm just talking about THC. I'm not talking about a better user experience. That's a different category in the realm of top shelf quality product. Can you get top shelf quality product by using Fox Farm? I think you could get to a point. I think you could get some really great product, although I don't think the Fox Farm line is what it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago. They've changed their nutrient line quite often. So, can you still get great product? Absolutely. Once again, do you have to use everything? No, you don't have to use everything. Once again, if you're a first time grower, I would recommend to not use their entire nutrient line. If you look at the back of each of the bottles and actually compare the NPK and what they're actually putting into the bottle specifically, like the actual types of salt fertilizers, and you compare it to the BC Bloom, the Cha Ching, and the Open Sesame, you'll notice that the same types of salt fertilizers that are in the Grow Big and the Tiger Bloom are actually the same salt fertilizers that are in the BC Bloom, Cha Ching, and Open Sesame. There are some variations, although for the most part it's the same thing. So what does that mean? Well, what it means is they basically took their salt fertilizer that is Cha Ching, Open Sesame, and BC Blooms, and they basically diluted it and made Grow Big and Tiger Bloom. And I'm going to show you the similarities, and you can see right here that they are using the same fertilizers, and my statement is, I would say, 70% true. Like I said, there are some other variations, and in other videos I will break down what's in these bottles and what they're derived from chemical by chemical, but for the most part, they're the exact same thing. So what does that mean exactly? That means that if you want to give them more feed, just give them a heavier dose of the Tiger Bloom. Again, this isn't perfect, but I am saying if you want to give them extra feed, you have big plants and you think the root systems can handle the nutrient feed, and all you have is the trio pack, well, the liquid fertilizer, not the dried fertilizer, well, just double up your feed. Obviously, pay attention to your plant. Your plant will tell you very quickly. I'm not talking about tip burn. Tip burn is after the salt has reached the end of the leaf and the leaf is trying to push out the excess salts that it wasn't able to process. And so that's why it becomes tip burn, is because the salt dries out the tip of the leaf as the leaf is pushing out. As the water is transpiring, the salt is collecting, kind of like if you work out really hard and the sweat dries back on your face, you have salt on your face. Well, for the leaf, the rest of the leaf can kind of handle it because it's a larger leaf, but when it gets to the tip, on the surface area compared to water ratio to salt, the salt gets stronger and it burns the tip of the leaf. So prior to that, though, what you'll see is you'll actually see the tip of the leaf kind of point downward more times than normal. And you'll see that within hours normally of giving them a heavy feed. If you see that, what I would recommend you do is get RO water and you water your plants. And what that's going to do is that's going to save your plants from tip burn. And remember, every single time you burn your plants and you overfeed them and those leaves burn a little bit more and a little bit's not going to be a big deal. But if it happens over and over and over, photosynthesis begins to shut down, and then you begin to have mineral deficiencies or nutrient lockout because there's salt buildup that's happening in your root system, and it begins to create this cascading effect. So let's go back, make sure I answered all these questions. I apologize, I'm a little redundant. Do you have to use everything? Once again, no, but if you do use the other products and you know what you're doing and you know how to identify when the plants are going into stress and how to alleviate that stress without it compounding day after day after day, you're going to be able to get a larger yield and a higher quality. When I say quality, I'm talking about oil production, THC specifically. I'm not talking about terpene profile production because that's different. I've learned and I've seen and experienced the only way to access that is to go through the microbiology direction. A few growers can access a high terpene profile, but normally they can't. You just can't reach the higher levels using synthetic fertilizer. I don't want to say you can't, but in many situations, you're not going to be able to reach it. It's much harder. And yes, the trio pack is good enough. And if you want to give it a little more, in other videos, I'll show you specifically how all their products are almost identical. They're just diluting it and throwing it, slapping another label on. In that situation, you just have to increase the fertilizer on your trio, your grow big, and you're going to get a very similar result. And once again, I don't have any photos to show you off of Fox Farm because I haven't used this product in over at least 8-9 years. So if any of you guys have any products that is coming off of Fox Farm that can challenge what I'm saying, because I love being wrong. I do not know everything. Like anything, you are always an accumulation of everything you've been taught. I have not been taught everything. I love educating myself. So if anyone has produced top shelf product off the Fox Farm line that has entered their product into some type of a contest like the Cannabis Cup and maybe have ranked in some level, or maybe you have just got a really great lab analysis showing a high terpene profile off of the Fox Farm line, please email it to me at admin@perfectgardens.com. One more time, it's going to be admin@perfectgardens.com. And just tell me about the story. Tell me about what you did, whether you're growing indoor, outdoor, hoop house, greenhouse, under LEDs, HID, plasma lights, whatever you're doing. Tell me the situation, and so I can share it with other Fox Farm users, because Fox Farm is a popular line. It's been in the industry for 30 years, and so because of that, it has a trusted brand, even though it's not my favorite product. If anyone, once again, has anything recent, send it over to me so I can share it with the rest of these growers. Thank you so much. Please like, share, and subscribe, and have a great grow, everyone.